Hi, everyone. This is Julie Roth Novak, CEO and co-founder of PartySlate. So excited to have Amanda with me today, who is our social media lead. And she's responsible for our incredible, along with many other people, leading our incredible social media efforts, especially Instagram. So Amanda, I know you've been with us for a couple of years, but this is your first digital event. So welcome. I like to pretend this is a talk show and I'm like kind of Oprah. So welcome to our show. I presented the Instagram kind of 1.0 a couple months back, and now I'm kind of looking at this as our Instagram 2.0. And I'm so glad to have you on the call because I learned a lot from you, Amanda.
Yeah,
And I think we have some great stuff in here with me. So I'm glad to have you with me. So I'm actually calling in from Frisco, Colorado. This is my office for the week. So hopefully you guys won't lose me. And if we do, we have a backup plan and a backup plan to the backup plan. But I'm really excited to talk about one of my favorite topics, again, with Instagram marketing and how to think about it, how to build your brand, how to drive deeper engagement, and kind of how we think about Instagram at PartySlate. So if you have any questions, if you want to give a shout out, if where you're calling in from, you can actually change your to all panelists and attendees. So that way everyone can kind of see who's here. So I love to see people shouting out from all over the country. And it's actually fun. We get people from all over the world coming into these digital events that we're hosting every week. So glad. Hi from Los Angeles. I see that. Hi from Frisco. Oh no, that was me. So thank you for coming. But just to get started, for those of you who are new to PartySlate, I started it, I guess it's almost 5 years ago in November. It'll be 5 years. And I was looking for a way to find new ideas for corporate events and galas. I had my wedding many years ago, and I knew there was a lot of wedding blogs out there, and I just couldn't find great resources for event inspiration. And so I used a website called Houzz, H-O-U-Z-Z, to redesign my kitchen. And after 20 years of digital marketing experience working with some of the biggest brands in the world, it struck me that this is what I needed as a party host, a way to find incredible new ideas, but more importantly, linked back to the incredible local talent, decor companies, planners, caterers, and of course, venues. And so I started PartySlate to really fulfill that mission. And now we have about 10,000 event professionals sharing their work. We just, I believe, hit 800,000 photos. I know my team says I exaggerate, but I know we are at 800,000 photos. And Amanda, we last year were verified on Instagram. We're at about 110, 108,000 followers on Instagram. And you've been doing a great job. I think we've tripled in the last year. So good job on building your brand.
thank you. Yeah, it's exciting.
Great. All right, so I see a bunch of people coming in, so I think we'll just jump in and get started. So if you guys have questions, please ask them as we go along. So many of you have sent questions in advance, so any question answer. I have like my security blanket here, Amanda, who I know will be able to answer the questions that I can't. So just to get started, for context setting, before you really do anything to take your Instagram to the next level, you really need to think about what your Instagram goals are. Who do you want to reach? What are your competitors doing? It's always good to kind of get a feel for what other people are doing in the market. What's the tone of your brand? Are you a funny brand? Are you sarcastic? Are you professional? Are you super creative? You really think about what your tone is. What types of content will you post beyond just your event photos? And really importantly, how can you amplify and drive deeper engagement to other channels, whether it's your website, your PartySlate profile, or even to a webinar registration. And then finally, how will you measure success? And so Instagram is important, and it's probably one of our most important channels, but I always like to remind people that people do start many times on Google, and they're gonna Google categories and your name and really stalk you as a company. And so it's really important to also have a really strong website, to really have a strong LinkedIn, because they're going to find you on LinkedIn. Third-party platforms like PartySlate and other wedding-only platforms, they're going to find you there. So you need to think about your holistic digital footprint and what that represents and how they integrate. But today's topic is really going to be laser focused on Instagram. So what I'm going to do today is kind of do a recap of the last webinar. So I'm going to do that in about 10 minutes. Hopefully I can move fast, which is really how to optimize your Instagram bio, choosing images that are really highly engaging and drive engagement, your hashtag strategy, very similar to SEO, really thinking about a different strategy for Instagram stories versus your feed, why engagement and crediting really matters and drives deeper engagement and more followers. And then I'm going to talk about IGTV and Instagram Live, which we really, since coronavirus, again, silver lining, we've really dug into Instagram Live and had a lot of success there. And then the new areas of content that we're going to talk about is, how to drive deeper interaction beyond Instagram, which is really important. I'm also going to talk about PartySlate's Instagram strategy and what we do. And it's not saying that you should copy what we're doing. We are a platform, you are an event professional or a venue, but there's a lot of best practices that we've picked up that I think will be useful. And then finally, a topic that we've been really passionate about and vocal about is inclusivity and diversity. We had an incredible inclusive branding webinar last week with Gertie from New York, and we can send you the link to that, but I'm just touch on the importance of that on Instagram. And we will email the deck to you. You do not have to take screenshots. We'll give you, someone asked that, we're going to give you the deck. We're going to give you the recording. We also have an amazing Instagram strategy template that you can use. We have tons and tons of resources. Our goal is to provide as much value as possible during these tough times to help you build your digital brand. And we really feel in adding this much value, not only is it good for the industry, but to be honest, it helps build PartySlate's brand. So again, I think it's a win-win, but we're trying to take all of the knowledge in our collective heads and share it every single week with you. So we're going to jump right in. And Amanda, as we get questions, interrupt me, because I always think it's more fun when we go back and forth. So first thing you need to think about is really optimizing your Instagram bio. I know this may be obvious to many of you, but I often see this. You should have an Instagram handle that is instantly recognizable. And I don't know about you, but sometimes when I put my stories up, and I'm not Amanda, I'm not as advanced as Amanda, but when I want to find people and they have a creative Instagram handle, it's very frustrating because then you have to go look it up and then you have to go back to your post. So make it as easy to read as possible. So for example, I'm in Colorado and I love Four Seasons Vale. If they're on the call, love you guys. But FS Vale is not as easy to recognize as Four Seasons Vale. And I know you didn't ask for my opinion, but I feel compelled that it would be easier if someone was tagging you, if your Instagram handle, so for you Four Seasons people, if it's more easy to recognize. So again, Amanda, I know you've seen that too when you're tagging people. So I would avoid abbreviations. I know you want to keep it short, but honestly, it's easier to keep it more recognizable. So when people start typing it in, they can find you.
Yeah, and even if you're tagging people, it's so much easier when you just type in their actual event company name rather than abbreviations.
Yes, great. And you also want to have a recognizable icon, logo, or professional photo. If you're a small company, I suggest using a photo. It's another way people can find you. And then this is really important, that handshake. I talk about during my website reviews how important that strong handshake is. People don't know what you do and they may discover you through your photos. It's very important that very clear, it's almost like an elevator pitch or a handshake describing who you are and what you do. And it can be very creative. It can be fun. It can be short. We have found that just a few short bullets or a couple sentences is enough. But I am surprised always when I am researching a company, I may have a call with them, that it's hard to know through their Instagram description and their bio what they actually do. Also creating highlight categories for maybe the types of events you do, or if you're a destination planner, the cities that you do destinations in. You can almost think about it as navigation on your Instagram account. And it's not only great to link them to your stories that you've already posted, but it also gives them an understanding, again, a brand building understanding of who you are. And of course, link in bio tools, which we're going to talk about later, is another great way to drive engagement.
We actually have a question about highlight bubbles. Someone asked, how should I categorize my highlight bubbles? Should I do it by each event or should I do it by event type?
So my opinion, and Amanda, I'd love your opinion, is you can do both. You can do what you do, different types of services, like different event types. or you can do, it really depends on the type of business you are. So if you look at your website and how you organize that, think about what are the main categories of things you want people to know about. Think of those priorities and then translate them onto your Instagram. And I think it's different for every company. And if you're heavy on bar mitzvahs, you're going to want to have a bunch of different bar mitzvah bubbles. If you're big on weddings or you want to build your corporate, you're going to want to make sure you have those corporate bubbles first. So again, but if you're a destination planner, you may want to have, Paris, London, the Virgin Islands, whatever, to build your brand that way. Amanda, what do you think? Because you're the expert.
I think it's a really quick and easy way for people to see the scope of your work. So if you're like a destination wedding planner, and you did a highlight bubble for all the destinations that you can do weddings at, or if you do all types of events, I think doing it by event type is great too. I think it just depends on what you want potential clients to see.
And it ties back to your brand strategy. So when you think through what are the 3 or 4 things you want someone to know about your company, I think that's the best way to prioritize them. But you can do both. You can slide the bubbles. So let's say your priorities are your top 5 bubbles, and then you can have more. We have many bubbles. Maybe we have too many, but I think 10, 15 or more are fine. But think hard about what those first 4 should be. And I know Amanda and I go back and forth, like, are the icons better or are the photos better? There is no right answer. To be honest, I prefer photos because I think people are engaged by photos, but the icons give them an indication of what the category is and could be, again, a brand builder as well. So I don't know, tell us in the chat what you like better for your highlights, either icons or photos. I'd love to hear from you guys. Okay, so that's really building your strong Instagram bio. And again, I always say do some low-cost research. Ask 3 or 4 friends, maybe people that don't work with you, on what do you think of my Instagram bio? Ask for feedback. I know we don't do that enough, and see what they say. Okay, choosing images are so important. That's what really leads to high engagement. This photo here from Norma Cohn was our top performing photo of 2019. And I just, the way the photo was shot, the uniqueness of the moss, on the table, it has multiple points of interest. And I just think it was a really compelling photo. So photo selection is really important. And I think really differentiating yourselves with the close up, the details, the further back, really, Amanda, we can talk about that later when we talk about our feed. The main thing, you want multiple points of interest so that you can drive engagement. Maybe people like the china, maybe people like the floral, the candles, the ceiling decor. Again, that's really, really important, your photo selection. We have found light, bright, and unique photos do best. And I'm not saying like a gorgeous ballroom photo that's dark and romantic isn't going to do well. That's just what we've found on our Instagram. So these are just examples of really high performing Instagram posts that we've done over the last year. And I don't know, Amanda, if you want to jump in on anything that you've seen with you do so much posting.
Yeah, I've found that people love creativity, things they haven't seen before, like this baseball centerpiece is really creative and fun. We actually have a question. Should I only post 1 photo at a time or a carousel?
So we mainly do 1 photo, but I think there's certain situations, like let's say a PartySlate launch event, where we want to show multiple pieces of the event. We want to drive people, and I'll talk about PartySlate strategy, back to partyslate.com. So we like to tease people with a stunning photo and then say, link in bio to see the full event. We believe you should be trying to drive people for deeper engagement. So my personal opinion is 1 may be the easiest, and I'd be interested, Amanda, what you think. And then put a strong call to action to drive them back to a blog post, to drive them to your PartySlate profile where the event is posted, to drive deeper engagement. But it's really up to you on what your strategy is for Instagram. Our strategy is drive back to the platform and drive people to your profile pages. Yeah. Amanda, what are your thoughts on that?
I agree. And if you're a company who doesn't have enough photos to post once a day, then it's better to not use a carousel so you can spread out and repurpose your content. rather than
Yeah.
posting all your photos from one event in one carousel. You can spread them out across your feed.
That's a good point, because some people think like, oh, it has to be current. And that's true. You want to post what's new, but you can also, people don't know when these events, unless it's a celebrity wedding, even if it is a celebrity wedding and you have the rights to post the photos, I still think you can say things like, oh, dreaming of blah, 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 you know, even if it was a year ago. So I think spreading them out, my sense is one is better. But I think it's, again, it's really a case by case situation. If you have a stunning event, you want to post 5 photos, post 5 photos, but just learn what's the engagement, you know, see the engagement of 5 photos versus one. We always say test and learn. I'm going to jump on, unless Amanda, you have questions.
No, good to go.
Okay, good. You also want to, you know, you want to consider the look and feel of your grid, you know, the color, the tone, how it flows. And I think many people like to do that color flow, but I see many that are moving away from that. So I think that that's one way to think about your flow is the colors, and that's really nice. Some people are doing checkerboard. There isn't a right or wrong way, but you're looking at it as a cohesive view of your company and your portfolio. So really think about a mixture of, again, close-ups, wide room shots, mix in videos, and you can also mix in, you know, promotion or text boxes. Let's say you're doing a webinar, or you have a speaking engagement, or you were featured on PartySlate. You can also mix those into your grid. Simplify your hashtag strategy. I get a lot of questions about hashtags. And I always say, think about your hashtags like you think about your SEO strategy. So you want to make sure your SEO, your hashtags are searchable, and what are those keywords that you want them to be searchable for. You can use up to 30 hashtags. Many people have asked me, should I use all those? We do use them on PartySlate, but we put them on the first comment so it doesn't weigh down the post, so it doesn't look messy. And sometimes I think when you put 30 hashtags, it can look a little too promotional. So if you're not going to put it in your first comment, you may want to think about what are your 8 to 10 hashtags that really make the most sense. But we always look at it as, if you can use them, why not use that so you could be discovered more and build your brand. So again, Amanda, do you have any hashtag thoughts for everyone, or any questions on hashtags?
Yeah, somebody asked, should I use generic or more detailed hashtags? For example, hashtag wedding versus hashtag Chicago wedding.
So I say more detailed is better. It's going to be very hard to more hashtag wedding. And so if someone's doing a hashtag wedding, likely, you know, PartySlate, Vogue, and other high authority sites that get a lot of traffic, have a lot of followers, are going to show up first. You can think about it like Google. But Chicago wedding, hashtag Chicago wedding planner, you're much more likely to, again, I would call that more of a long tail hashtag versus, again, just a hashtag wedding. So I believe the more detailed, the more likely you will be discovered in that hashtag. So I feel like the hashtags that have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of followers are very, very tough to rank for. So I would look for, I don't know what the right range is, but you know, you definitely want it over 10,000 followers. You want it to have enough bulk, but it does not need to be 1 million. The reason being, you know, if I try to on wedding on Google, it's just really hard. But although, by the way, no one just types in wedding. They type in Chicago wedding venues. That's what they're typing in, or wedding ideas, things like that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that if somebody is typing in hashtag Chicago wedding, they could be looking for a planner, a designer, or a caterer. So I think hashtagging to your market is also important.
Yeah, local venue names, city names, even things like Santa Monica versus just LA. You know, think through Malibu, think through what those longer tail keywords are that you as a company want to be found for. And of course, you should also hashtag things that are in the photo. So it's not just about, you know, hashtag cramming. If it's a beautiful chandelier, you know, put event, you know, wedding chandelier or something like that. I do see there's questions about the algorithm of the hashtags in the caption versus the comment. I actually don't know the answer to that. I don't think there is a difference in Instagram's algorithm. Now, of course, Instagram doesn't share their algorithm, so we don't know for sure, but I have not seen any Instagram gurus say that there's a difference. And in fact, many of those Instagram gurus do comment hashtags in the comment. So Amanda, I don't know if that's something you know or you've heard about.
We put our hashtags in the comment, and we know that we have been discovered by people through hashtags. So I believe that they work just as well in the comment.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I've looked into that in the past during our last Instagram post, and I have not seen anything that says there's a difference. So then the next kind of big area is thinking differently about Instagram stories versus your Instagram feed. So your Instagram feed, definitely consider, 1 to 2 posts per day. And again, if you can't do 1 to 2 posts and that overwhelms you, think about a regular like 2 to 3 a week. And again, the photos don't have to be vertical. It really, you can crop for any dimension. The quality really more important than quantity. And I don't know if there's anything else kind of that you want to touch about, Amanda, on the feed versus stories. We're going to talk about stories next. Definitely tagging people in the photo is important, crediting your partners. What are some things that you think are the most important in your feed?
Yeah, I think about feed as a more permanent place and stories expire. So it's more temporary, like holidays, stuff like that. I usually put in the stories, more permanent things in the feed. And then also thinking about tagging partners in both the photo and in the
Right.
caption.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
that definitely tagging in the photo is so important because then your photo shows up in their photo feed. So that's really important. So don't forget, even if you do a beautifully credited post, to also credit them or link them or tag them, I should say, in the photo. Then Instagram stories, Amanda, you're amazing. We're going to talk a little bit about what we do at PartySlate, but Instagram stories really, think about 2 to 3. Okay, is it 2 to 3 per week? I know daily if you can. I know we do a lot, but we are also with a full social media team. And so, think about how often you can do stories and when it's right to do stories. They don't just have to be kind of live video when you're at an event. They can be more promotional where you're promoting a new event that you posted or something that you'd like to reshare where you've been tagged in. There is more freedom with stories to do more like in the scenes and kind of raw storytelling. It doesn't have to be so professional like your feed needs to be. I have seen some pros like have like 50 frames, and I know they get really excited about things. After about 7 frames, viewers really drop off. So I think, 7 to 10, I mean, again, go for it if you want to do 20, but there might be some drop off that you see. 85% of people watch videos without sound. So they might be in a restaurant or they might be in their car. And so just know that video and sound may not be heard. So it has to be self-explanatory with text and the visuals. And then for us and other of you on the call that have more than 10,000 followers, one of our favorite things is the swipe up if you have more than 10,000 followers. But if you don't have that, so for example, I have about 3,000, my personal feed. I overshare about my kids and PartySlate. I just do link in bio. So for all these digital events we're doing, and I'll post something, I'll just say, hey, link in bio. But for PartySlate, being over 100,000, we always do the swipe ups and we get a lot of traffic back to our site that way. Also, Amanda, I love when you do polls and questions, and I know many people on the call do this. Getting people engaged into Instagram stories is really fun, and sometimes you share the results after, so it's much more interactive. And again, I'm not the best at doing this, but Amanda is a pro, and we do that a lot, and it just gets people into it, and again, builds your brand and connects people to the experience. Okay, next category, or do you have questions, Amanda?
we do have some questions. What are your thoughts on posting a photo of our space if we don't know who the photographer is to give credit to?
So here's the thing. Photographers want relationships with venues. And honestly, I believe credits, so PartySlate will not post without credits. And so, I mean, that's something in our core values, and we're all about crediting. But if you have a really amazing photo and you don't know who shot it, I honestly think that photographer could send you a simple DM and you can thank them, say, oh, great, I'm going to post it on my PartySlate profile and I'll credit you. I think because stories are so quick that it's not so important. But my big message, I know I do a big talk on organizing your photos and videos, is it's really important to have that archive of all your photos with your credits. And I will, whoever asked that question, will be happy to send a link to that recording. That is my first choice. But if you have these amazing photos and the photographer was like from 10 years ago, my personal advice to you is post it. And if they reach out to you, say, oh, I'm so glad I didn't know who shot this one. I'm going to post this to PartySlate and I'll be sure to credit you fully on the PartySlate profile. So I don't know if other people have different opinions. We won't do it because God forbid we miss a credit. We'll hear it from, 6 cities around the country. And usually, I hate to say it, but we're getting credits from your profile page that you posted. But if we do miss a credit because the pro did not post it, we change it right away. I mean, we are fast. So please let us know if we miss it.
Yes.
Am I missing any other questions, Amanda?
Yes. What are your thoughts of repurposing content from other pages while tagging and giving credit where due?
So you see, is this question meaning you see something else that you really love and then you're kind of giving a shout out to them? Is that the question?
Yeah, I'm thinking it means to share someone else's work or post.
I think relationship building wise, if you share like one of your friendors posts that you really love, something that was great, that is such a great relationship building tool, especially like a story that kind of disappears. I wouldn't put it in your permanent feed, but I would say definitely, share the love, and maybe you share some of their work. Maybe they'll share some of your work that they love. So I think it's incredible relationship building. And I see you guys doing that already. So I think it's a good idea. So I'm going to keep going and then Amanda collect questions as we go. So driving engagement through conversation and crediting. I know you guys know this already, but commenting and commenting, and actually similar to what I just said, and responding to posts really makes a personal connection. And so I think I see a lot of people doing the hearts. Take like 3 seconds and write a comment about something you love in the photo. Oftentimes with our posts, we love it when you respond and things you like, and we will respond back and we'll kind of hashtag or mention your name. Thank you for your post, blah, blah, blah. So I think commenting is an undervalued conversation starter. So next time you think of just clicking a heart, take 3 seconds to write a comment. And I believe it's 10x the relationship impression than just a heart. So again, that's what we do on PartySlate. We're constantly looking through content, especially for our premium members, and commenting and liking those posts. Any other thoughts here on kind of conversation, Amanda? Because I know you're on 24/7 with our Instagram feed.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with everything you said. I think it's nice to take some time to respond to some comments, to like everyone's comments, and to make sure that they know that you're seeing them, so they want to continue engaging with your brand.
Absolutely. I know sometimes when I make comment and I just get like a heart on my comment, I'm like, oh, they read it. So I think it's like a little, we're alone in coronavirus. I know the world's opening back up, which is great, but staying connected through social media, in addition to all these Zooms and other things we're doing, is really, really important. And then also crediting. Again, I said that's one of our PartySlate kind of core value. You can go to Pinterest and see all these photos and you don't know who the credits are. You don't know where the venue is. Every photo on PartySlate is linked back to the full list of credits through these profile pages that you guys publish. Similarly on Instagram, when you post something, really important to have full credits and to have it formatted so that it's really easy to scan who is the caterer, the venue, etc. And then also, again, tagging those credits in the photo itself really has the network effect, similar to how PartySlate works. For them, your photo will show up on their Instagram kind of photo section. On PartySlate, your photos will actually show up on their profile page. In addition, you'll get listed as an event professional that has worked at that venue, or a decor company that has worked with that planner. So again, network effect in this industry is so huge, and really important to keep that not only in the real world, but also in the digital world. And I know someone mentioned before about kind of organizing credits, about not having all the credits. I hear that over and over and over again. It really does require organization to have all of your credits lined up. And so I usually say one person on the event team, could be the event planner, could be the venue, whoever it is, should really own the master credit list and share it with the team. We use Google Sheets, but you can use anything. I really think it's important, like the day of the event, to text the Instagram handles to your team. The day after the event, send a formatted Instagram list, kind of like the right-hand column here. And then you decide, do you want to show 10 credits? Do you want to show 5? I know there's a different perspective. Like, no offense to like the, I don't want to say a category, so I don't know what category I'll say, the wedding dress, I'll just say, because we don't focus on wedding dresses. Do you have to credit the wedding dress? Really, that's up to you. We say make sure you have the top 5, which are photographer, planner, decor, venue, cater, actually 6, entertainment. And then of course you have videographer, you have great rental companies, transportation. That is totally up to you. The more people you credit, the more pushed out your brand is going to be.
Yeah, and if you're being selective about your credits, I would absolutely include the credits of people who are in the photo. So rentals, if there are chairs in the photo and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And if it's a big tent company, credit the tent company. Who knows? Maybe they'll refer business to you. So again, it's relationship building. We've really made a big push into Instagram Live, and I love watching many of you on this webinar who are doing them too. I like to stalk people and message, and I think it's so fun. I'm only on 1 or 2, a day, I'm busy with meetings, but it is fun to jump in and out of these conversations, whether it's 15 people that are in the room or 1,000 people in the room, like we've had all over. It's just a fun way to promote your brand. So we've been using Instagram Live to really promote events and thought leaders and kind of influencers in our industry to talk about different categories. It's great. You can save the video of the Instagram Live. You can post it to IGTV. We post it to YouTube. So it's really a great content creation machine. And you can also save it to your highlights. So we save every Instagram Live screenshot to our highlight reel, and then you can link through to view the video on YouTube. We did a great one with Mindy Weiss a few months ago, and with here Lisa Newberry from David Tutera's team. And so it's just a great way to build your brand. And then IGTV, this is more kind of timeless content. It can be longer form. We're putting all of our videos from our launch events and tagging all of our partners on our IGTV. So don't forget, IGTV is also a good place to store your video content in addition to your short form content. So Amanda, any thoughts? I know we've been kind of newer to this the last 3 months, but I've really been excited to see a lot of engagement.
Yeah, sometimes I notice that videos don't get as many likes, but they're getting a ton of views. So sometimes people just forget to like a video, but it doesn't mean they weren't engaged with it.
Yeah, so views are really more important for videos as opposed to photos where you're looking for likes and comments. But again, I just think it's another way for people to get to know you. What I like about Instagram Live is it's a little more informal. It can be more like, kind of you're listening into a conversation. And so I've really enjoyed seeing many of you on your Instagram Lives over the past few months. Okay, so that was a recap, just doing a quick time check. We went a little bit longer, but I know there has been a lot of questions. So I'm going to zoom through the next 3 sections, and then I really want to take a lot of your questions. But Amanda, before I jump forward, is there any other questions kind of in our best practice section that you've seen?
People are still asking about crediting, and we can send you a template afterwards to help you with formatting your crediting.
Absolutely. So, and I also have some good shortcuts for how to do that. I can send that all over to you, but the key is having it. Don't try to format your crediting in Instagram. It's just too hard. And so there's like 2 or 3 ways. And I can put this in the recap, and we'll put it in our template to make your life a lot easier on getting, number one, not missing a credit. Because again, when we post our content, oh my gosh, if we miss a credit. So like, it's very important you don't miss a credit. And then number 2, just typing it into Instagram on your phone, it's just very time consuming. So we have a lot of great shortcuts we will share with you, I promise, after this. Okay, great. So now I'm going to talk about how to drive Instagram engagement. So really driving people beyond Instagram. And again, many of you get leads directly from Instagram, and that's great. A lot of times people are just exploring on Instagram, and you want to drive them to your website or your PartySlate profile for them to learn more about you. And so there's many ways to do that. You can have your link tree, which we're going to talk more about. There's many tools you can use. Direct messaging, again, if they're going to contact you directly, that's great. You can link to registration for webinars, which we do. Of course, your website, your PartySlate profile are another way for them to get to know you. So I don't think it's one way to drive engagement. You have to decide what are the top priority ways to do that. I've learned a lot from Amanda on that there's different tools, and I didn't even know what to call it, but I'm calling it, and when I've Googled it, link in bio tool. It's very fancy. To actually get people to all this amazing content. There's a couple different formats. We use the one on the left, which is, what's the tool we use again? Link my photos, right, Amanda?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we do link my photos. So it almost looks like a copy of our Instagram. So again, this isn't in Instagram. You link in the bio and it comes to a page that looks like Instagram. And so these tools, add-on tools, very low cost. Some of them are even free, and you can upgrade to a very low cost plan. Or again, this makes sense for PartySlate since we have so much content. We have 800,000 photos from PartySlate that we're, obviously not 800,000 photos a week on Instagram, but we have all this content we're posting. So this makes the most sense for us. It makes sense for you to have more of a kind of a link tree where you have, links to your website, links to your webinar, links to articles. And so I know, Amanda, we talked about this before, which one is right. And also you don't need to have any of these. You could just have link in bio to your website. Sometimes people do link in bio to their PartySlate profile. It depends what best represents your brand. Amanda, what are your thoughts or advice if an event planner would say, which one is right for me? What do you think?
Right. We have so many places we want to link to that it makes sense for us to have every single photo be linkable to somewhere. But if you're just going to link to the same 3 places, then I think a link tree is fine if you want to do your website, an article you were featured in, and your PartySlate profile or an event album, and you can change them too. It's not like you have to stick with the same ones you initially chose. And a lot of them are free or just a few dollars a month.
Yeah, so again, I think if you want to drive more click-throughs, again, to drive deeper engagement, think of it as a funnel where Instagram's kind of near the top. I think this solution is something I don't know because I don't do the link tree, how hard it is to set up, but what I've been told by many people that use these programs that they aren't that difficult to set up. And so it's something you might want to research. And again, we're going to put a link to these different options in our Instagram strategy document that we're going to send over to you so you can think about it. And again, I don't want to overwhelm people. A single link in bio is plenty going to your website. So that could be perfect for business. Of content, and you have a lot of followers and you want to drive more engagement with the things you are posting, this is a good solution for you. And again, we use an Instagram scheduling platform. I know half of you use this, half of you don't. If you're doing a lot of posting, it does save a little headaches on, doing it every single day as opposed to like loading up for, I don't know how far in advance, Amanda, that we load up our post to Sched Social, but I believe even doing 2 weeks in advance or 1 week in advance is helpful. Any questions?
We do about
Oh, go ahead. Any questions on this? Someone's saying they use Linktree. It's great, easy, change links on the fly. So I see a lot of people putting their posts there. Again, super easy to use. And for scheduling, if you're only posting 1 or 2 times a week, probably don't need this. But if you're posting on a daily basis, you may want to look into, again, we use Sched Social. Not the only one out there. Hootsuite, I know, is more advanced. Later is really popular, and Sprout Social. There's probably like 30 of these that you can look into.
So we do have a question about the feed. How important is the overall color and photo style of the grid? For example, we work with photographers in various styles, and I overthink how it looks with each photo next to each other.
I would not, I would be more concerned about the individual photos that you're posting than the grid. And so, yes, if you have the luxury of looking how, really thinking through how it flows, that is great. But anything that stops you from posting amazing content, you're overthinking it, because the most important thing is regularly posting great content. And part of Instagram's algorithm, they do similar to PartySlate, how, for PartySlate, look at, are you posting monthly or quarterly? We want fresh content. But on Instagram, they want to see regular posting of content. So I would not worry about your feed as much as I would worry about getting great individual posts out there. That's just my 2 cents. Amanda?
Yeah,
I like to pretend
I
you're
think
the expert.
I think the quality of the individual photo is the most important part, since Instagram's algorithm will reward you. If a photo does well, then they're going to send your next photo to the top of your followers' feeds. So I think thinking about the individual photo is more important than the overall look of the feed.
Yeah, and for discovery, they actually aren't going to discover you unless they were referred to you, like, oh, you got to check out so and so. They'll go to your feed. But from a discovery perspective, remember, they're going to find you through the feed and find you through people that you've tagged and hashtags and things like that. And so a lot of people, their first impact isn't going to be looking at your grid. It's going to see some other format of your content through, again, Instagram's algorithm or through hashtags. And so again, individual post for me is the most important. Really, again, I also want to, I don't know if I talked about captions or I skipped over it, but a really great caption is so important to driving engagement. So really great photo plus caption, most important thing. Second to that, thinking about how the grid looks together. So the next thing about your caption should drive engagement. So the link in bio, call to action, I actually just talked about this, using cliffhangers, questions, incentives, like really having people get engaged. I see a lot of people asking questions out there, is a great way to really get people engaged, and say link in bio. Of course, story swipe ups are really important as well, and I already talked about that. I know this photo, Amanda, to the right was really popular. Tell us about this photo.
Yeah, so it got a lot of website clicks. So the number of likes doesn't necessarily reflect how many website clicks a photo gets. So we talked about how we're going to pour more place card inspiration into your day. And this was a creative place card setup, so people wanted to see more. So language that leaves people hanging, kind of teaser content that gets them to want to see more, is what we aim for.
That's awesome. I do see a question from Anna about how do you feel about posting party pictures during COVID? Do we need to be sensitive? And that's something that we really took seriously, especially when COVID first hit. We, number one, did not post as much. Again, what we did is we added some sensitive language of, dreaming about XYZ, things that happened in the past. We had a movement about what we were excited about celebrating soon and being together again with family and friends and colleagues. We also are not posting as many. Again, we are going after a higher end audience here, as many over the top, really, I don't know how to say it, very detailed, large scale events that may be inappropriate at this time. So we have found, and we're going to talk about our top Instagram posts over the last year and specifically over the last 3 months. But what I will say is there are still brides out there and grooms and engaged couples that really want to be inspired. And we see the contact forms coming through PartySlate. We see the engagement. We see people thanking us for sharing inspiration. But we have changed our tone and gone to a smaller scale to be more appropriate and more sensitive. And again, in our copy, we are very intentional about acknowledging that either we're looking forward to this coming back soon or talking about small celebrations that can be done safely. So I think it's a very good question that we did not cover here, because I've done so many COVID focused webinars. This isn't one of them, but very important to know that the world is opening up slowly and we need to post sensitive things. But I also tell people, don't be paralyzed about posting, because people are looking for new ideas. They have more time to research, and they still want their event and they still want it to be special. And so they are looking still for inspiration. Our traffic dropped a little when COVID hit, and now it's inching back up. People want their events to come back. So that was a very good question. Okay. So now I'm going to brag a little about Amanda and all the incredible work that our marketing team is doing with our Instagram strategy, but mainly to share what has worked for us. We can even share some lessons learned on some things that have not worked so well for us. So we'll walk through what our strategy is, but I want to tell you, each person on this call has a different Instagram strategy. And so they might be consistent, like they might be similar, but for example, someone really trying to push for more destination events, someone trying to get more corporate work, the strategy is different than that other person. Also, you may not have a great website, but you may have a great PartySlate profile page. So you need to think, where are your best touch points and how are you going to drive people to those touch points? So we have 3 Instagram goals. I really encourage you to think about what your top 3 or 5 goals are of Instagram. 1, build brand awareness of PartySlate. So PartySlate is not an Instagram feed. Many people love it so much they think, oh, this is an Instagram feed. Every chance we get, we really drive them back to PartySlate.com. We want people to see your profile pages. We want people to know this is a great resource for consumers or party hosts to get inspired, find new partners, and really, again, all in one place. The next one is driving website traffic. So we talked about, link in bio, link trees, but also the Instagram swipe ups. We want people to find us on Instagram or get inspired on Instagram. And again, professionals find us too this way, drive back. We are not a social media platform. We are a digital marketing platform. There is a difference. So we believe PartySlate plus Instagram, and again, there's a holistic look at your digital footprint, is a very powerful combination. And then the third thing for our Instagram strategy is we want to promote our premium members. We want to promote our event partners. So many people that do so much for PartySlate. Again, they get something in return, but we want to build their brand. And also our digital event series. And I guess I will also say, hopefully soon, our real events, our physical events that we use. So really quickly on building our brand awareness, we talked about having an easy to read, clean bio, our beautiful and unique content that you can only find on PartySlate. Of course, these photos are other places, but we want to be, if you look at our Instagram feed versus maybe some of the wedding only blogs or other corporate only blogs, I know I'm biased. I know we don't have 2 million followers, but our Instagram feed is 100% focused on a high-end, beautiful event design and inspiration, corporate mitzvah gala wedding. We do feel this is a differentiator. We, thanks to Amanda and our editorial team, incredible creative descriptions, unique stories, and of course, amplifying our city launches and partners and featured events. So that's our brand awareness. Driving traffic, again, Amanda and team, and I'll go to the next slide, look through our events, our photos posted every single day. They know way more than I do. Oh, did you see that event? Did you see that event? So when they see something cool, like this amazing bar that says, I am so into you, you guys get it. It was a sushi bar or whatever. And then we let them know, if you like this photo, drive them to the full event with the full credits on PartySlate. And so that's kind of our strategy, link in bio, compelling story, really to get them to drive through. And Amanda, stop me if stop me if I'm going too fast. Amanda and team every single week are looking through the content that's coming in. So they're almost like a publishing bureau. They're like saying, oh my God, did you see that event from Paris? Did you see that event from New York? Did you see this event? We're looking every single day. We are looking for creative and never seen before event ideas. We are looking for behind the scenes and well-written event descriptions. And I know it's hard to write these descriptions, but if you write 3 or 4 sentences when you post your event to your PartySlate profile, that helps Amanda and Pamela, who writes our articles, know what is so special and unique about that event. So event descriptions really influence events that we select. And then obviously we want full credits. Again, to the question asked earlier, we will not post something on Instagram or anything in editorial without the major credits to the story. And then we also look for like fun, relevant, like pop culture and events. And I know you probably have, Amanda, a million ideas for what we do there, but this is how we find the content. We're lucky. We have 800,000 photos to pick from. But we really want more new ideas. And as the world opens back up, we're excited to promote smaller outdoor events, creative, smart use and safe events. I know Krieger out in LA, this really cool driveway party, graduation party. We featured that right away. So let us know as the world opens back up, we want your photos on your profile page. And if there's anything unique, special you want, put a description in there. And again, you can always email editorial@partyslate.com and we can bump it up to our marketing team. Amanda, any questions before I go on?
I think you covered it. Someone said, should every photo on a PartySlate profile have a description? I think that
not every photo needs it, but the event itself needs it. So just an event description, kind of like, let's say you're posting 30 photos, all you need is an event description. And if we select a photo, we might even come back to you and ask for more details. But typically, if you have just an event description, it's enough for us to know. Good question. I know we have to walk before we run. Only about 10% of the people write event descriptions. So there's a big opportunity for the people writing event descriptions to get published more often because we can see what is behind the scenes and what is actually going on. Also, like Instagram stories are really great for promoting like our roundup articles. Great way to put the title in a creative font and then swipe up to see the article. So we get a lot of click-throughs on these roundups. So if you do a really cool roundup of your favorite, if you're a planner, your favorite venues or things, destinations, and do that's a great way to drive click-through to your website. And then also, again, creative descriptions on Instagram and unique stories. People love animal shots, kids parties. I don't know, Amanda, if there's anything special you want to point out here on these two.
So these are examples of how great descriptions and the event albums led me to post them on our Instagram because I found out things that I wouldn't be able to see from the photos. This couple, the dog is actually the reason that they met. I thought it was a really cute story. The dog dragged her into a bar and that's how they met. So I posted that. And then Rudy Gay, an NBA player, this was his birthday. It was a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme. So I thought that was really cool. So descriptions really help us get details that we wouldn't necessarily know from the photos.
That's great. And someone asked about hashtag PartySlate. Yes, if you hashtag PartySlate, we see all those photos. Obviously, there's a lot of people hashtagging PartySlate and other applications, but we will see your photo. And typically, I know, Amanda, you try to respond to as many as possible, but that's another great way. But the always thing we're going to look for is it also on your profile page? And it's not to say you can't add it to your profile page because we understand Instagram's often first and PartySlate second. That's not a problem for us. We just can't publish it on our Instagram unless it links back to your profile page. So again, absolutely hashtag PartySlate us. We will see it. And Amanda has discovered great photos that way. So our editor, Pamela, made a great suggestion. Why don't we share our top performing Instagram posts for the past year and then also compare it to since COVID hit, what does it look like in the past 3 months? So this is the past year. I mentioned earlier, light, bright, airy photos. Again, for PartySlate tend to do better. Usually, again, you never can put your finger on exactly what it is, but I always say multiple points of interest, a great photo, lot of credits, linking people to the site. Sometimes people reshare or repost it. That also indicates to Instagram that this is a great photo. So this is just 4 example performing Instagram posts. And interestingly, this is the last 3 months. And so you'll see a difference that, again, all of them are outdoor. Again, the other ones were outdoor too, but they're more detailed shots. It could indicate a smaller event, even if that event by Diana Gould or M Studio could have been a larger event. The posted photo showed a smaller experience, the outdoor bar. So these are our top performed posts for the last 3 months, which is very interesting. And then these are the most clicked on photos for the past 3 months. And it's interesting that these are more detailed shots. I had not seen that photo on the left, Amanda. And I'm like, I want to do that for an event that I'm doing. I don't know if you can see it fully, but it's beautiful flowers in lucite boxes with table assignments. And so like kind of your escort table. The middle one, we use Slack. I don't know how many people on the call use Slack for communication. This was an amazing Slack holiday party. This is, I think, a pudding. It's something that's being served, an ice cream with a paintbrush in it with their colors. This did really well. And then the last one is tables assignments, I think. Yes, Amanda?
Yes, so it shows that even if a photo isn't the most liked on your page, it might still get the most clicks to your website, and captions have a lot to do with that too.
Yeah. So creative captions, links, and the photo are really important. And sometimes that really surprises us. We love Slack, and we know that tagging them would be good, that we have featuring one of their events. But I don't know if I would have guessed that that would have been such a highly clicked on photo. So we do a lot of testing, learning, and looking to see what the engagement is.
And we're getting,
and then
we're getting questions about emojis in the captions, and if you recommend them.
I'm going to have you answer that.
Yeah, so I think that short and sweet captions perform best, and emojis give you the opportunity to show more emotion or get your followers' attention while keeping the caption shorter and sweeter. So I definitely like emojis, and I think they're great for consumers.
Great. So, and I think this depends what your business is. Emojis, there's been a lot of studies that in many posts do perform better in email marketing. I personally, when I do my post, I am not an emoji person. I am on text, but I'm not doing that. But for PartySlate, again, we test and learn, and it has been effective. So I wouldn't recommend doing it for every post. You don't want to get too cutesy. It really depends more about what your brand profile is and kind of, are you more, we are a little bit more informal on our Instagram stories than we are on our posts. So I think on your feed, you have to decide, what's best for your brand and experiment. The third bubble, I talked about, building our brand, talked about driving traffic. For our Instagram strategy is promoting our premium members, partners, and events. And so when we do these fabulous launch parties, I know many people on this webinar have been to them, Boston, Miami, Hamptons, New York City, anniversary party, Chicago. We've done so many incredible events. We post those videos to our IGTV. We put a post on our feed, and then we link to IGTV for the full video. That has been really popular. Also promoting events like this, our webinars, our digital events, our real events. I guess this is a real event, but our physical events. And then we also, the first place Amanda and team looks to as far as our feed of photos is to our premium members. We are not all premium member photos. We many times have organic posts, but as far as our business model, how I keep PartySlate going and hiring great talent and doing these webinars and building PartySlate as a resource is, we want to give a lot of attention to our premium members that actually make us possible to be a business. And so that's where we look first. But I will tell you, I know there's a lot of people always only pay for play. I will tell you, our goal is to have the best Instagram feed. And so we do a mix of premium members, which of course come first, and then also just incredible things that we see from around the world that we think our consumers will like and see value out of it. So the last area of talking that are really important I want to talk about is inclusivity. We did a webinar last week that I can send a link to on inclusive branding, where there's a lot more detail. But I just wanted to state, and depending on what who your target market is, but I will say across the board, you can Accenture survey that 70% of millennials think about millennial couples or millennials at corporations are more likely to choose one brand over another if that brand demonstrates inclusion and diversity. And I think in the days we're living now, and kind of an awakening to Black Lives Matter and being inclusive across the board, Pride Month, everything, in our core values, this is really important to us. We now have a diversity, equity, and inclusion committee that Amanda is on. And this is what we look to, is really selecting images and using inclusive language that are really diverse and inclusive. So think about ethnicities, of course, LGBTQ, critical of showing different images, representation of different couples, cultures, religious traditions, and much more. And we're still learning, and we're making some mistakes, and there's a lot. It's a very complicated to think about what you include, what you don't include, the political climate. I mean, there's so many things to think about as a platform, but we're taking it really, really seriously. And I think it will only build stronger brands for those companies that do take it seriously. So Amanda has always done a good job of inclusive imagery, but now we're also thinking about inclusive credits. And that's really something newer for us, of making sure that we're thinking not only recruiting all types of event companies that have all different types of ownership, but really making sure that we're highlighting, no matter what the picture looks like, all types of companies and with different backgrounds. So that's something I'm really proud of. So just to wrap up, looking at a quick time check, we're out of time. So I'm going to really quickly go through an action plan. We will send you an Instagram strategy template that you can use to put your goals, your audience, your hashtag strategy, how we measure success. It's a simple Google sheet, and I don't want people to be overwhelmed. It's not very fancy. It will help you put together your strategy. Really create your content plan. What type of content do you want to post? Think about a content calendar, can be very high level, and decide if you need a scheduling platform. I will also emphasize organizing your photos and videos in Dropbox or whatever you use will help you with all of your channels. We'll help you with PartySlate. We'll help you with Pinterest. We'll help you with Instagram. You need to do that. And then really execute and engage your plan. Update your bio to reflect your what you really want people to know. Have some people look through it, and then really start engaging conversation, content, posting on a regular basis, and then optimize from there. So again, this was a lot, and I know many of you on this call are amazing at this already. We hope even if you picked up one or two new nuggets of insights, that is our goal. But we will send this recording, we will send the deck and our Instagram strategy to you soon. And we will also happy to review your Instagram. Amanda can do that in about 3 minutes. Just email Amanda. I guess we can just go to which email should I use, Amanda?
Amanda.greenberg@partyslate.com. I can put it in the chat.
Okay, we'll put it in the chat. She can review your Instagram better than I can. I know I can too. We can help you build a profile if you don't have one already, or you can just go to partyslate.com and click for pros, and then you can say apply for a free profile. And then on Thursday, if you're overwhelmed, what is PartySlate? How do I do all this? We are hosting our first masterclass on how to build a world-class profile page. And I'm going to be interviewing Chavi, who's our head of product, and Nicole, who is the head of our B2B marketing effort, on the best way to build a world-class PartySlate profile. So this is a new thing we're going to be doing on a monthly basis. And our first one is on Thursday. So hopefully we don't, this is our first one, so we might have some mistakes, but we're going to make it as best as we can and really share all the knowledge of how you can use PartySlate to build your brand and to really share your full portfolio and connect with your network. So I know we don't have much time. I'm seeing people say thanks, enjoyed this from all over. You have Amanda's email address. I'm just julie@partyslate.com, and we're going to send you all of the content afterwards. If you want to join on Thursday or jump on a call with us to learn more, we're happy to do that as well. And my goal with these events is just to share the knowledge, share what's worked for us, and help you build your digital brand. I'm very passionate about digital marketing, as many people know. And now is the time, even though we're suffering and many companies are feeling the pain, now is the time to really invest in working on your business versus in your business. So I hope you found this useful. Amanda, thank you for joining me and helping me put this presentation together. Everyone have a great day, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.